Hey everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video we do the second part of the Rolex tier maker. So this time we are going to have all the two-tone versions and also the full gold Rolex models. Again, we will have the same categories like in the part 1 episode. So we start with the walk-in category, which is someone who has zero spend history with the store, might walk in for the first time over there and has no connections yet to any of the salespeople. Followed up by this, we have the known person category, which might be someone who already bought one or two watches over there, who spent maybe something up to $20,000 already, and in general the people will know him by his face. In the third category then we make a big step up. This is the frequent buyer category, so this means someone who might have already 1, 2 or 3 years history with the store, who bought several watches from them, and usually everyone in the store knows this person. So this category will usually go up to somewhere like $200,000. Then after the frequent buyer we have the top customer, and the top customer is someone who's spending regularly in the store, so maybe he's buying one watch every maybe 1 or 2 months. He's known in the store for quite a while already, and he has a profile of up to $1 million. And the last category, which is the highest ranking that you can have in such a store, is the VIP category. So this is someone who spent probably more than $1 million already in the store, someone who bought watches from all different categories. So obviously probably he bought some steel sports models, but also someone who would buy full gold watches, watches with diamonds, maybe he bought a ladies Datejust for the wife or girlfriend. So someone who's buying through the whole product range of Rolex, or in case it's a multi-brand store, also buys expensive watches from other brands. And with that, we have our 5 categories. Below you can see all the two-tone and full gold watches that Rolex offers in their current portfolio, and we are going to rank them now. So the first watch that we are going to have is a simple Datejust 36 two-tone in the let's say least in demand combination, so oyster bracelet and a smooth bezel, and this one for sure you can get as a walk-in. Same applies to the champagne dial, as there's no big difference between the white and the champagne dial. Next one is again another Datejust, this time with a champagne dial and with diamonds on it, and these are usually even easier to get. I think even in the current situation, which is going on now for a few years, these are the easiest ones to get. Followed by this we have a bit more special dial. This is actually the champagne palm dial, also with a smooth bezel, but on a Jubilee bracelet, and this is a bit harder to get than the other 3 pieces that I just ranked, but usually if you search a bit more, if you don't buy during your first visit, so I said you search a bit over a few weeks maybe, then you can even get this as a walk-in. Followed to that we have the Wimbledon dial, so you see the Roman numerals here again on smooth bezel and Jubilee bracelet. And this one is a bit harder even than the palm dial to get, I would say. For a long time you could still get those as a walk-in, but nowadays as the Wimbledon dial has such a strong demand on it, I think even the two-tone pieces, they will usually offer these more to known persons. And often for known persons this one is, let's say, not the best purchase, but they still take them because of the Wimbledon dial. Following to this we have one of my favorite combinations actually, the fluted dial with a fluted bezel and the Jubilee bracelet. And I actually tried to get this for a long time as a walk-in and wasn't able to get it, so I had to order it until I find mine, and that's why I would probably put it into the known person category. Would be pretty tough to find this in the display. Followed by that we have the white Roman numeral style, again with the favorite combination of fluted bezel and Jubilee bracelet, and this one I would say yes, those will become more and more available, so these you can already find as a walk-in again. Followed by that we have the mother of pearl dial here with the diamonds, and the mother of pearl dial is a bit special because these are produced, I think, in a lot lower quantity than any other dial. Still, with the diamonds, it's not so strong in demand, so I would also rank it either walk-in or known person. I think from the production quantity, it would fit better into the known person, but yeah, if you search a bit for it, I think you can even find it as a walk-in. Followed by that, we have a Datejust with a full diamonds bezel and diamond style. And again, these are even less in demand than only the watches with diamonds on the dial. Also, those are a bit rare actually, but as the demand is so low for them, again, you can get them as a walk-in. Same goes to this green dial. There's actually not big of a difference, even though the green dial is more in demand than any other dial color, like the black dial, if you count the diamonds bezel, but again, I would put it as a walk-in. Now it's getting a bit more interesting after we rated all the Datejust watches, which are, as said, usually the easiest ones to get. So you only see this Wimbledon dial is a bit more in demand and harder to get, or if you have the perfect combination of fluted bezel, jubilee bracelet, and maybe a fluted dial. Besides those two, pretty much every other piece you can get as a walk-in. So now we have the Submariner bluesy, so two-tone, and blue sunburst style and the blue bezel. And these were for a while quite hard to get, but as the demand died in the market, now I would say even a known person can get these watches quite easily. Then we have the same one, which is the black version of the two-tone Submariner. And even though it's a bit less in demand, I still think you can't get them as a walk-in, so I would also rank it into the known person category. Following these, we have the full gold Submariners, and yeah, usually they're pretty similar to the two-tone versions. Sometimes they are trading a bit higher, sometimes they are trading a bit lower. I think in general Rolex again produces less of these full gold Submariners compared to the two-tone versions, but again then the demand is also lower for the full gold pieces. Unless the market is really hot, then usually the full gold ones are shooting up quite a lot. But in the current market, I would also put them into the known person category. Again, the blue one will be a bit higher in demand than the black one, especially for the full gold. It just looks better. But also it's not that much more, so again, if you bought already one or two watches before in the store, they know you're not a flipper. You can even get the blue dial, the blue sunburst dial full gold Submariner as a known person. Following those two, we have the so-called, I think, blueberry, and the blueberry I would say is the hardest of the full gold Submariners to get. Still would be tough to put it in the frequent buyer category, as a few times I actually found even the blueberry in display, and I think with a good conversation to the sales guy I could have bought it. So I would also put the blueberry nowadays into the known person category. Now after the Submariners, we are coming to the GMT Masters, and here interesting piece is the new two-tone GMT Master 2. So we have the yellow gold jubilee bracelet and the gray and black bezel. And initially after release, so basically after release, every Rolex at first is quite hard to get and trades high over retail, but then after a few weeks or months they come down, and this piece actually came down quite fast. Still, I think for a known person it would be too tough to get it, as there are just not so many out there yet in the market. And if you look at the retail price or second-hand market price, it actually trades pretty much at the retail price if you look in your local maybe WhatsApp groups or wherever you're usually buying the second-hand pieces. So I would probably not put it anymore into the top customer category. I think it's a good watch for the frequent buyer category, as it's still a GMT, and usually the GMT ones are a bit harder to get than the Submariner models. Following to the new two-tone GMT, we also have the root beer. So now it's an oyster bracelet with the rose gold and the brown bezel on it. And this watch also during the hype traded quite high over retail now. They came down a lot, and again I would put it in the frequent buyer category, as it's still much easier to get than a Bad Girl or a Pepsi, for example. But on the other side, also a lot harder to get than any of the two-tone Submariner models. Following those two, we have a full gold GMT Master 2. Also, this is the new version on the Jubilee bracelet with the gray and black bezel. And this piece, I think it's similar to the two-tone version. Also trading probably around the retail price on the second-hand market. Still, many people would like to buy this watch to boost their profiles, but also this one I would put in the frequent buyer category. Moving on to the Pepsi, this is actually the white gold version with the blue dial and the red and blue bezel. And during the hype, again, this piece was super hard to get. Now you can get them a lot below the retail price on the second-hand market actually. I think probably something like 20% maybe cheaper compared to the retail price. And due to that, also the demand dropped a lot, because even the people who want to boost their profile, they're often not willing to take such a big hit. But again, Rolex stores will not make it easy to give you this model. So I would also put it into the frequent buyer category. Now moving on, another full gold Pepsi, but this time with the meteorite dial. And you probably know that these meteorite dials were crazy in demand, especially the Daytona, which is now discontinued. But in general, it will be very tough to get any of the meteorite dials since the hype started. And yeah, even for this one, it's still pretty tough to get, so I would put it in the top customer category. Just because it's a meteorite dial, they're not getting many of them, and the ones they get, they will probably rather give to their top customers. Now we have the full gold root beer, and this one I think also trades pretty much at or below retail price on the second-hand market. So yeah, I think it fits best again in the frequent buyer category. Again, a bit higher ranked than the full gold Submariner, but I would say any of the two-tone GMT Masters is more tough to get than the full gold root beer. Now we come to the DayDates. So here we have actually a 36mm DayDate with the blue dial and the diamonds on it, and this one in white gold is pretty easy to get. Usually one of the pieces available in display. Basically in all the stores I recently visited, you could get maybe not exactly the blue dial. Some might have the green dial, some might have other dial color, and sometimes you can find the blue dial. So I would put it also as a walk-in piece. Moving on from there, we have another DayDate, this time with the silver dial, again in white gold. And also this one pretty easy to get, usually a walk-in piece. Moving on from there, we come to a white dial with Roman numerals in rose gold DayDate. Again, easy to get piece, definitely something a walk-in can buy. And another DayDate, and this time it would have diamonds on the dial, even easier than the last two that I showed you. And again, it will be a walk-in piece. Now the ultimate flex combination. We have a full gold DayDate with a mother of pearl dial and the full yellow gold bracelet, yellow gold case, but diamonds also on the dial and the diamonds bezel, and due to that, again, it's a walk-in piece. Now we come to some more interesting DayDates. So the first one is this stone dial, diamonds, Roman numerals, indices, full yellow gold. And these stone dial DayDates are actually quite tough to get, even though their retail prices are a lot higher than the normal sunburst dials, for example. And especially this one I have never seen anywhere, and even if you would ask for it, the stores will make it quite tough to get it. Also on the second-hand market, I think these stone dials are still trading above retail, so I'll put this one definitely into the top customer category. Coming from there to to the newly released this orange stone dial. And again, same like this Tiffany stone dial, very hard to get, have never seen them until now in any of the stores, and if you ask for them, they will tell you it's pretty tough to get them. Coming now to another interesting piece, which is this full diamond style with the rainbow baguette diamonds DayDate. And usually I think the demand on this one is not as high as on the other special DayDates like the stone dials. Also these, I think they are trading secondhand not much higher than retail, or somewhere around the retail price, maybe sometimes even a bit lower, sometimes a bit higher, but in general around the retail price, I would say. Of course, with the rainbow baguette diamonds, it's a pretty special piece. Not a lot of them are coming from the factories, I guess, so I would put it into the frequent buyer category, even though it has a pretty high retail price. Usually not much demand then on those pieces, but yeah, as it's such a special piece with the rainbow diamonds, I think it makes sense in the frequent buyer category. Coming to the next DayDate, so this is DayDate 40 with a white dial and Roman indices, Roman numerals again, pretty easy to get, a bit more in demand maybe than the diamond dial versions or this silver dial, but again, it's a piece that you can get as a walk-in. Now we have the DayDate 40 with the green dial, which was released maybe last year. I think it was not released this year, I think it was in 2022, and since then I've also never seen anyone getting this piece. And I remember when it was released there were quite high requirements to be able to add it to your wish list, so it's definitely a top customer piece, and not sure how it trades on the second-hand market, but I guess it will be quite a lot above retail. Coming from there, again, Roman numerals in the champagne dial and the fluted bezel and the president's bracelet, full yellow gold. Personally, I like this watch actually a lot. Maybe a little bit big for my wrist, but it would be my favorite from the walk-in DayDates, I guess. Then another piece, also this one has the, I think it's called actually the Eisenkiesel dial, so again one of those stone dials. I found them a few times in display available for sale, so I could technically put it into a walk-in, but maybe those were really lucky exceptions, so I think it might probably make more sense to put it at a known person. I would say overall demand not so high on them, but on the other side the production is super low, so walk-in, yeah, probably just they produce too little to put it as a walk-in. But again, if they know you're looking for this piece, they know you're not going to flip it, you'll probably get it as a known person. Then we have this anniversary DayDate with the olive green dial in the rose gold version. And this was for a long time one of the hardest DayDates to get, as pretty much everyone wanted this anniversary piece, and they were also trading a lot over the retail price. So for the flippers was a fantastic piece to boost the profile. Still, they are hard to get, not easy, but on the other side they also come with a heavy price tag, so I think it makes sense in the frequent buyer category. And then we have the chocolate dial rose gold. This one again was hyped for quite a while, a little bit less than the olive green dial, so I would put this into the known person category. Definitely easier to get than the olive green dial, but harder to get than any of these DayDates over here. And then we have the platinum DayDates that also got refreshed not too long ago, finally got the fluted bezel, and again these pieces are still pretty tough to get, I would say. Usually it's the favorite of the high-end collectors to get this platinum version, as they look quite clean, and the ice blue dial also is pretty amazing on them. So how would I rank them? Because we have another one coming up, I think I would either put both of them into the frequent buyer category, or I would put the normal version into the known person. Yeah, I'll probably take the risk. I think the one with the Roman numerals on the dial, you can probably still get it as a known person. And the one with the baguette diamonds looks even cleaner, to be honest, on the dial. And I know many high-end collectors who would rather want the baguette diamonds. On top, the production will be even lower on these. So I'll put the baguette diamond platinum DayDate into the frequent buyer category. And then the last of those DayDates will be again the meteorite dial. As just said, meteorite dials are super hard to get. Basically on whatever watch they put them, it will not be easy. You will never find them for sure in the display, and they usually offer them to the frequent buyers or to the top customers. So again, since the Daytona meteorite dial hype, all other meteorite dials became much harder to get. So I would also put this one into the top customer category. But could be that it falls under the frequent buyer, depends probably a bit from region to region. But over here and Europe, where I went to a lot of stores, I would still see it as a top customer piece. Now coming to Daytona, and Daytona is probably also very interesting topic, as it's overall the most hyped Rolex watch. As you saw in the part 1, all the Daytonas, they pretty much scored in the VIP client category. Now it's your lucky day. So these two-tone versions and full gold versions are definitely much easier to get than the steel Daytonas. And we are starting now with the two-tone. This is actually the two-tone white dial, and I think this is one of the least in demand Daytonas. So I'll probably put this one into the known person category. Yeah, I think it's a bit easier to get some of these two-tone Daytonas than to get a root beer, for example. But they're pretty close to frequent buyer. Again, can vary a bit from region to region, but as per my experience, I would put them into the known person category. Same for the black dial, and then we have another one with this time diamonds on the dial. This will be even easier than the ones without the diamonds, but still nowadays a tough one for the walk-ins. I remember around 2019, early 2020, you could get any of these two-tone Daytonas and even the full gold Daytonas on Oyster Flex, usually from the display, but those times are definitely over, so I'll put this also into the known person category. Then same for this champagne dial, and now we have a full gold Daytona, actually with the black dial and the champagne sub-dials. And where would I put it? I think nowadays the full gold versions are a bit harder to get than the two-tones, and especially these full yellow gold bracelet, full yellow gold case and yellow gold bezel. Always there are rumors popping up that these will be discontinued next. Anyway, I think Rolex also gets very few of them. On the other hand, there are not so many customers asking for them, I think, like there are for a meteorite dial or any of those special dial DayDates. So, and probably it's also because there are just so many different full gold Daytona. So I'll put it into the frequent buyer category. And then the same goes for the full gold champagne dial. And then we come to the full gold Daytona on Oyster Flex. Difficult one between known person and frequent buyer. Would say more difficult to get this than the two-tone watches, but easier to get them compared to the full yellow gold bracelet. So I would still put it, I think it's harder to get than the two-tone and harder to get than any of these watches over here. So probably more like a root beer. So I'll put it into the frequent buyer category. Now coming to the Daytona Oyster Flex with the diamonds on the dial. This is a bit of a different story, definitely easier to get than the version without the diamonds, so I would put this one into the known person. Yeah, that's probably similar to a two-tone without diamonds. Now coming to the white gold case and silver dial. I think many collectors like this piece, especially over the champagne dial versions, as this comes quite close to like the Paul Newman Daytona or so, or the new Le Mans looks also a bit similar to this. So I'll put it also into the frequent buyer category. And then we have another piece again with diamonds, and I guess most people who want the Daytona they want to avoid the diamonds due to the sporty character of the watch, so I would also put this into the known person category. Moving on, again a full gold piece, rose gold with rose gold bracelet. Hard to get these full rose gold bracelet versions, so this again frequent buyer category. Same goes for the reverse, or actually for the panda dial, and this is the reverse panda. Let's say both in the same category for sure. And this is an interesting one, full gold bracelet, diamonds. Yeah, I guess not the highest demand for it, so probably maybe the only full gold bracelet Daytona I would put into the known person category. Then Oyster Flex, rose gold, again pretty hard to get, also frequent buyer for sure. And again the one on Oyster Flex with diamonds, I would put it into the known person category. Again, someone who might be at the upper end of the known person category can probably score one of these Daytonas with probably a long wait, but it's possible definitely to score them. Now the more tough to get Daytonas are coming. So we have the platinum with the ice dial. From my experience, one of the hardest Daytonas to get, harder than the gold versions, easier to get than the steel versions, but still it's a VIP piece, I would say. Yep. Then the one with the baguette diamonds, again same, also VIP piece. And the hardest Daytona probably of them all, which was recently released, the new Le Mans edition. It's kind of like a limited, non-limited watch, as they will only produce it for a limited time, and there probably not be many that they are producing of them, and pretty much everyone will want this piece of the known person, frequent buyer, top customer, VIP clients, so they will for sure just give them to VIP clients, maybe even only to friends of the owner of the stores. Now it's getting easier again. We are coming to the Seadweller two-tone. Definitely easier to get this than to get a Submariner. Not sure if it would fall under the walk-in category already, but if you would ask me for my prediction, I think soon it will be a walk-in piece, or in some area it is already a walk-in piece. So I'll put it into the walk-in category. Coming from that to the two-tone Rolex Explorer, 36mm, definitely a walk-in piece. Found them several times in the display. For sure it will be harder to get than any of the Datejust or DayDates. But again, it's probably one of the easiest sports watches that you can find. Coming from there, we have two-tone Yachtmasters, especially those 37s are quite easy to get, so that's why I also put them into the walk-in category. And same goes for the chocolate dial, bit harder to get maybe than the black dial. My personal choice would be more the black dial, I think looks better, but again you can find them as a walk-in. Coming from there, we have a full gold Yachtmaster, and this is actually one of my personal favorites. I like it a lot. Usually during the hype it was hard to get this, as pretty much everything was hard to get. Nowadays, as especially the full gold watches are dropping, I think even this one you could find, if you ask for it and search for it, take your time, you could get it probably as a walk-in. Then the full diamond style Yachtmaster, definitely again walk-in piece. Coming from there, we have now the 40mm Yachtmaster two-tone. Again, I would also put them as walk-in pieces. I think probably not too hard to get those. especially if you're looking for it, if you ask the people, if you show them your interest, if you maybe visit the store a few more times, even though you don't have a spend history, you can probably find one of these, especially if they have a day where they just want to sell. Now we have the Skydweller, also here two-tone white dial. I think also nowadays you can find them as a walk-in. Similar story to the Yachtmaster, they're probably not displaying them, so you have to ask for this piece. But if they have a good day, they want to make a sale, they have one of these, maybe in the back, maybe in the drawer, you can probably get them as a walk-in. Same for the champagne dial, same for the black dial, and also the new version on Jubilee bracelet. I would probably put it, yeah, I think I would put it nowadays also as a piece that a walk-in can get. Now we come to the Oyster Flex Skydwellers. Definitely also walk-in pieces. Again, might be in display with a sign not for sale, but if you ask them, if you push hard, you might be able to get one of those Oyster Flex Skydwellers. Then we have a full gold bracelet Skydweller. Also this one I would put to a walk-in category. More Oyster Flex Skydweller in white gold. And then the toughest Skydweller, or one of the more tougher ones, is still this, how should I call it, maybe this, yeah, this blue sunburst, blue greenish sunburst dial, this aqua dial kind of Skydweller in full rose gold. One of the more recent releases, and for now still in the top customer category. But I would also say that this one probably might soon drop into the frequent buyer. So I'll already put it into the frequent buyer just to make this a bit more future proof. And now coming to the chocolate dial, and this piece, chocolate dial, full rose gold. For quite a while it was good in demand, definitely also dropped, or where would I put it, non-person. I think non-person makes sense. One category lower than the aqua dial, a bit higher than the other Skydwellers, as this chocolate dial is one of the favorites usually. And then the gray dial, this one again maybe also a known person piece, quite hard to come by. Basically any of those full gold bracelet versions are pretty rare, and the demand is still a bit there even for the less in demand dial, so put it into the known person category. And now another Skydweller white dial on Oyster Flex, and this one again I would put it into the walk-in. Now a few more, maybe more special pieces. So a ladies Datejust, super easy to get, definitely a walk-in piece. A full gold ladies Datejust, also definitely a walk-in piece. Now some of the new releases, so here the new Rolex, the successor of the Cellini line. Have never seen them yet actually, so seems like they're not making many of them, or they delayed the production a little bit of them. So I'll put them probably into the frequent buyer category. I guess the demand might not be so high, not so many people will be ordering these, but also Rolex will keep them a bit special and not directly put all of these into the display or make it easy for people to get them, to keep the second-hand value of those pieces. So I'll put all of them into the frequent buyer category. Now we're already at the last three pieces. So here's this Jigsaw DayDate. I actually wanted to get one of the Jigsaw DayDates myself. I asked the AD where I bought a few watches before, but he told me basically impossible to get this. This is like a off-catalog piece, only for their VIP clients reserved. So for sure falls under the VIP client category. And now the last two pieces, they are quite easy to rank actually. So the Yachtmaster 2, I think I forgot this piece even in the video number 1, but I can tell you now all of the Yachtmaster 2 are quite easy to get, and for sure the two-tone version will be a walk-in piece, and also the full gold version will be a walk-in piece. And with that we have it. But as you can see, it's actually not so easy to get many of them. So also the frequent buyer and the known person category have quite a lot of those two-tone and full gold watches in it. Walk-in, definitely there's a high variety, a big choice of Rolex watches that you can pretty much get if you're living in an area where there is not the highest purchasing power around you. Then all of these should be quite easy to collect, or you can basically buy most of them for lower prices on the second-hand market. And yeah, I hope with this video I gave you some good inspiration, maybe also for your first or second or third visit to Rolex. What are the watches you should be aiming for? How hard are some of them to get? And by that I hopefully saved you some time and you can start hunting for your dream watch. So thank you for watching and see you in the next one. Bye bye.